taken place, we always give it for you. And we are having so many stories to give you at this particular moment. And we'll be talking about, here in the country, we'll be talking about the 2023/2024 FIFA Big League fixtures that have already been released by the Federation of Uganda Football Association. The match day one, how the fixtures have been rescheduled. We'll also be talking about that one. Not forgetting about the AFCON qualifiers. Remember the last games of the AFCON qualifiers ahead of the tournament rather, which will be taking place in Ivory Coast next year from the month of January up to Feb. We'll be talking about these games. We are having tight games. Uganda will be having a game up against Niger tomorrow. We'll be talking about that one. Not only that game, actually we'll be talking about the games we have in all the groups. The fate of the other teams will be discussing about that one. International Kasper Schmeichel, the former goalkeeper of Leicester City, has already signed for Anderlecht. We'll also be talking about that one at the age of 36. What about the biggest of it, which is coming from international, is all about Spain women team sacking their coach, that's Jorge Vilda. This coach, as we talk right now, has already been sacked by the team of Spain. Why he has been sacked, we'll be talking about that one. As I said, I am not alone in the studio. I am together with Suzy Linda, not forgetting about Owen Ezaga. The studio is full packed with all the panelists. Let me start with Suzy. Suzy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Benson, and good afternoon, my other colleague, Mr. Owen Fudribo. And good afternoon, our viewer out there. You're most welcome to there is the Oyster time, 2 to 3 p.m. Like Benson had already said, the house is fully packed with, of course, the best pundits that West Nile has. Just stay glued to West Nile TV from now until the hour over. There is 3 p.m.
Yeah, Owen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. A lot of things to confirm. Sunday, not Sunday, 17th. Yes, we're going to be at Paida. We shall be broadcasting a game live from Paida. That is reportedly say that it's a Paida and Bull game. So we're yet to see which game will be there. West Nile Television will be giving you a game right there. So on 17th, that's where the West Nile Television crew will be for you. So you should be getting ready for that day. As of course all is set from here, and yeah, we're having all roads to Paida. But of course a lot of things that are also coming through from the other parts of the region. I'm just seeing the intensity of and of course the pressure that is piling after the fixtures of this the FIFA Big League came out yesterday with of course deep games that are going to be interestingly taking place. So all those are some of the things that are taking place. FIFA Drum team left today. They probably, I don't know whether they've reached safely, but they are a team that is also getting to the Aridi Stadium to do maybe trainings. But of course, the bad or big news is that very many clubs have not released their players yet to go for this province team in there. So we're expecting also maybe by Thursday or Friday have players to reach at Paridi Stadium right there.
Let's pick it from there. In case these clubs they still insist not to release their players, how will this one affect the team of West Nile Province?
It's quite a very terrible one, I should say, for there is a West Nile Province, because all these players are supposed to be in camp to represent there is their province. So whichever team has not released their players, I think normally there is a procedure to take against such a team that actually fails to release its player to represent its province, I should say. That is why I think somehow there was a time we had a talk together with there is the media person who actually said there are certain penalties, by the way, a team stands to actually take or levied on if at all the team fails to release its players to represent for their province. So it's quite a very bad one, but then we still have like 2-3 days ahead of that very clash, maybe a day too. That is when probably the teams will release their players.
Okay, talking about the build-up match between Paida Black Angels and Bull FC, we all know that Bull FC is a very big team that plays in the top tier of Ugandan football. Meanwhile, for Paida Black Angels, currently they are participating in the West Nile Regional League. They have ever played in the Start Times Uganda Premier League, coming to FIFA Big League, up to West Nile Regional League, where they are. And it has been a very rare case to see that a team that plays in the lower division of Ugandan football, playing a build-up match as a friendly with some of the teams that plays in Star Times Uganda Premier League. Now Paida Black Angels organizing a build-up match ahead of the new season with the Bull FC. How will this one benefit them?
Of course, it's a fundraiser, a game that they are trying to push in there. Yes, I just said Bull because at first that was the team they are trying to find out.
Yes.
I tried talking to Bull whether they are aware. They also said that they are not yet aware. I think Paida is yet trying. But of course, initially it was it was Bull that they're looking into. Maybe if maybe unless they will change in there. But of course, that is going to be a big one. Where after confirming to us which team they would be tussling out with. So it's so interesting that these games will be taking place. But to me, Paida is trying to do a lot to fundraise, so every other person has to come in there to also make sure that, yes, the fundraise should work out for these players. So, I mean for the club, because this is a club, we saw the channel or the level of organization they are put in there is one of the biggest one that they are looking at. One of the organized clubs in the regional league, they are having competition from different clubs that are in there. Talk about the Nebi Central, talk about Paida United, talk about teams that are also like the Pakwachi, the Pajobi. Pajobi is having a game today with our team called the Chitara Football Club. That's a very big one. So it gives you an update that yeah, these clubs have a lot to add into that is their books, and the fans, I would just call upon fans to be there in large numbers, because the more you go there is the way you're supporting this club indirectly, so that they can do transfers, because Ugandan transfer is still open, so that they can add into allowances of these players. By the players they signed, you know, it's a very big one. Regional league clubs, normally when they want a player from, let's say, when a club like Chitara wants a player from Paida Black Angels, they will say, now let's come and maybe play a game so that the gate collection is used to facilitate this player off the system. I think that's a very good one, because sometimes these clubs may not afford to pay the money you want, but you can raise or generate money at the gate collection more than the player. So those are some of the big things that, I mean, more than the club, the one you have asked from the club. So those are some of the things I think need to be pushed, but all in all, the boys are very ready to start the season for Paida. That's why they are setting up and testing every water they want to test, every club they want to test, because the aim is to get into the Star Times Uganda Premier League after penetrating to the big league. So they're looking into that is not where they belong also as Paida Black Angels. Maybe the PRO would be speaking very well for on their behalf, but that is according to the 1-on-2s that I've shared with the president and the rest of the people. That is what they are trying to say about this. So, yeah, we're expecting a big one.
So the teams that are from Greater Nebi region, and at the same time Western based the clubs that are playing in Nyagaki zone, they are taking a very big step. And you gave there is also another team, Pajobi United. They are preparing for another friendly with the team that is also going to play in Star Times Uganda Premier League, Chitara. And at the same time, we have been discussing a friendly game between Paida Black Angels and the team that's Bull FC. And talking about teams that comes from Nile zone, they are quiet. Maybe they are playing indoor friendlies, but the biggest of it coming from the other side of Nile zone is all about some of the teams being involved, more special teams that are based in Yumbe DFW. They are playing Super 8 amidst themselves. What is the next message for the rest of the teams that are quiet?
I think they're not quiet intentionally. Maybe probably there are things that they're organizing or are looking up to ahead of the season that is going to come. Because one, this season is not going to be an easy one, trust me. Because if you look at other teams that actually the teams that are qualified, they're actually very most of the teams that qualified are new into the league, and then the ones that were there, some have been relegated and others have been there. So everyone will look into leaving that very league that actually they are playing in, or they have been playing in. Like Owen has said, Paida does not look at itself belonging to there is a regional league and all that. So doing the build-up game with teams that actually play a bigger tie than you means that everyone's expectation is ahead of whatever league that they are playing right now. So probably I think the teams that you've classified as being silent, maybe they're doing undercover preparations ahead of the rest of the season, which looks to be very tough when it starts.
Yeah. Leaving that one, let's take our trip to the cycle of the Start Times FUFA Big League. The biggest story coming from that position is all about the 2023/2024 Start Times FUFA Big League fixtures being released already, and taking a look at some of the fixtures before we give them fully. And we are seeing a derby at the starting point whereby Mbale Heroes, of course, they have been drawn against Kataka in the open game, and also another newly promoted side, Young Elephants, that knocked out Yumbe Bay side, Coach Urban. They will be having their open game, open game up against Police FC, plus the rest of the fixtures. Now my emphasis here is all about, should we say FUFA, Ugandan football at this time is getting organized, because previously in the previous seasons we used to see the dates are settled like this, but when it comes to towards, in fact, when we are getting towards the kickstarting of the games, you will see the games being moved ahead. The fixtures, the dates for the Start Times Uganda Premier League, of course, have been released and settled already, and also this one we are talking about FUFA Big League, the dates have been settled, and also the fixtures have been released. Does it mean, Susie, starting with you, does it mean that FUFA is getting organized in case these games are going to start on the particular dates that have been settled?
To me, I think FUFA has always been organized, only unless otherwise there are certain issues that come about that are unavoidable, that actually make some of the fixture dates and not to be honored. But FUFA has always been organized, and that's why you see that the dates that actually they've put across, I think this time around, Big League is starting hand in hand, okay, moving alongside. There is a Start Times Uganda Premier League, not unlike the usual seasons where we used to see UPL starting maybe a month ahead of there is a Big League. Initially, Big League used to be in October, but we just in September. We used to know September being for there is a UPL, but this time around, you're going to see UPL being played, and then immediately over the weekend, as people roll into the weekend, you also see there is a Big League fixtures coming up front. So I think they have done a lot of organizations here and there to see to it that actually these games run hand in hand, unless otherwise, like I said, there are issues that come about that are unavoidable that will lead to maybe not honoring the fixture dates of certain games.
Owen Ezaga, now the games, the dates and the fixtures have been settled already. Are we seeing the games kick-starting on the dates that have been settled, or is you are expecting something maybe towards the starting dates you will see the games being postponed, like how it has been happening in the other previous seasons?
Most of the times it is changed when there is a draft, but yesterday's fixtures showed that it's final, so it shows you that these games are starting. Federation of Uganda Football Association is trying to take a shape. That's why you're seeing them getting in as sponsors and the rest But games are set to kickstart on 21st, which is a Thursday. Most of the games have been shifted to Sunday. You would see that FUFA Big League that used to always be on Saturday, on Thursdays, have been shifted to now at least to Sunday and Thursday. So it gives you something that, okay, maybe they are looking to see, they are looking into being organized. Couple of games will be on TV, and of course that is also another addition that you would say yes. I'm not seeing any change of date for that. For the club that I speak, the games are mostly on Sundays, and they are kicking off on that is the Sunday game. So there is a trip away. But I want to assure you that every club is restructuring. You even see the Calvary Football Club where they are pushing in more. They are having the Super 8 organized in Yumbe, where they are doing a lot. So the more they play games, the more they are getting used to. You know, it is whole reshufflement where they have a lot of people, new faces. So they are trying to see how these players can get in there. I've seen so far watched 2 of their games, which are all draws. That means it's they are trying to see where is the problem. So that is one thing. Not only that, Lugazi today has an behind closed door game that they are going to be playing at Lugazi. And this is what exactly is happening. So I think clubs are strategizing.
True.
Police tried to sweep away the old brooms who are surplus to requirement, and they've added in more in there. It was just, we discussed a lot about police yesterday, that it was because of a few things that they did. Look at Mara City. They have also put in there first of all, when they were in the big league, they strategized and pushed and qualified. Now that is same PG. Now this is the same PG who has gone to Northern Gateway. I mean Ginger North, where of course you're going to be seeing they have also strategized. I'm just giving you how they are. So that is how things are coming in there. And I think this season, it's going to be so competitive. Still in the big league, one of the hardest. And we're expecting a lot. The club I speak for, Nduparaka, also strategizing. Of course, you've seen them have games and games. Even today, there are games. Tomorrow, you will see them have a break. On Friday, they have another game with the Black Angels. That's how clubs are trying to push it there. So I want to say every club in this FUFA big league is there. First, the names like Chetume, you've seen them quiet, the Katakas, but they're also doing recruitment.
Truly.
It is going to be the Chigezi Homeboys. Who doesn't know Chigezi? They're a team that has always been there. They have come back, and that is how exactly they are putting. So it's not going to be it's one tense and high intensity in these games. I think it's going to be interesting. One of the biggest league that will be in this country is the FUFA big league, and so interesting, competitive.
Yeah, truly, matches these clubs are doing organization ahead of the new season, and I'm also seeing challenges. And there is one thing I've loved of late about these clubs. In fact, ahead of the new season, both the teams that are going to play in the Star Times Uganda Premier League and also those ones that are going to play in the FUFA Big League, unlike the previous seasons, let me talk about last season, whereby some of the clubs could not be able to meet the standard of the minimum requirements for them to be registered, and we have seen some of them being thrown out of the competition. I can give you an example with the Toro FCOS Swana. They were relegated to that FUFA Big League, and they were thrown out just because they could not be able to meet the required standard. Plus the other clubs, and the last season we saw Star Times Uganda Premier League only having 15 teams, but this time at least, starting from the top tier up to the second one, all the clubs at least they have been registered. That means Ugandan football is taking steps ahead to see that they actually do improvements in all the departments. Now to finalize with the Star Times FUFA Big League, Matthias, you know, preparation is not all about being registered and also being included in the fixtures. We never know. Some of the clubs might be struggling, and these games, they are kickstarting on the 21st. Should we say that the clubs have all prepared? We never know. The preparation they have only done is to see that they're included in the fixtures, and at the same time, they are registered. Do you think that within, let me say, we only left with the 2 weeks for the games to start, do you think the clubs have done enough in terms of the preparation in all the departments?
I'm seeing preparations. There is within all clubs, I should say, within all camps, because basically we saw FUFA actually releasing out a list of clubs that were fully licensed, that were able to take part in all, even in UPL, we saw the same. And then certain clubs that had not yet registered were given a grace period to do the registration and all that, and we saw them coming through to do the registration. And then when we came down to there is to Big League, we also saw FUFA coming up to release the clubs that were able, that had already registered to actually take part in there is a Big League. So to me, registration is the biggest, and being licensed and given a go-ahead to participate in the league is actually one of the biggest steps that a club takes, because if you're not prepared enough, trust me, you don't even start the process of registration. So for the fact that actually clubs go ahead to do a registration and clearance from there is FUFA, to me is the biggest step of preparation, being ready to take part in the league. And then build-up games is another level of preparation, showing FUFA or showing the other counterparts or the fan base that actually they are very ready is again a build-up games. We've seen most of the clubs doing build-up games. Yeah. We've seen almost all the clubs doing recruitment, reshufflement, I should say, from management to the players and all that and all that. So to me, almost every other club is very ready and prepared for there is the season ahead of them. There is a big league 2023, 2024, also a UPL 2023, 2024.
Yeah, you may think some clubs, maybe there are those clubs. First of all the clubs that are registered, I want to say they have 18 plus numbers in their books. That is one thing. So it gives you something that, yes, even if the league started now, there are 18 players. That means 11 starting, you have around 7 who are still on bench. That shows how ready they are. But now, how do you maintain the league for all this? You get me? It's 8 months. Let's say it's a season. And a season comes with a lot of expectation. You're going to have injuries. You're going to have off forms. You're going to have on forms. So that means it adds you to have around 23 plus or 24 players in your system. So that is where now the preparation level comes. Maybe where some people will say that no, the preparation is not yet ready. If right now Benson gets injury at West Nile Television FC, who is that person to replace Benson is the question someone will now ask. That is the level of preparation that someone will have to put. If Susie is not on form today, who is that person who can be on form to replace? I think that is one thing. Then positioning. Do we have all positionings balanced? Do we have the left back, the right back, the goalkeeping, and the rest? Those are some of the things clubs are now trying to strategize, adding in experience, because big leagues full of experience. Can we have the experience in the team? And I think those are some of the things that are coming in right now. So it's so big. I feel all the clubs are ready, but now the level of containing themselves into the league to compete, that is what is lacking, I think, in most of the clubs, or what is there. But I think all clubs are ready because their names are in the fixtures released.
Exactly. We have discussed a lot about start times of FIFA Big League. This time we are taking our trip to look at a continental tournament, the biggest tournament in Africa. Actually, we are talking about the last games to be played in the AFCON qualifiers. And this week will be the decisive week for some of the countries, as for some of the teams. And taking a look at how it is for some of the teams. Group A is already done because Guinea-Bissau and Nigeria, they have already sealed their ticket ahead of the AFCON 2023 that will be hosted by Ivory Coast. And also in Group B, it's also done and dusted. Burkina Faso and Cape Verde, they already through. And another tight group is, of course, Group C, where we have Kenya, there is Burundi, not forgetting about Cameroon and Namibia. Why am I saying it is very tight? Kenya was banned by FIFA because of 1 or 2 reasons. They are not taking part in the qualifications. They already dropped. The battle is now amidst the 3 teams. That's in Namibia. If you take a look at the table standing, they are leading with 5 points. Second team on the log is, of course, Burundi with 4 points. Third is Cameroon with 4 points. And looking at the fixtures, Namibia, they have already finished playing their games. The biggest game, the 10th game, is actually between the country, that's Cameroon, up against Burundi, whereby Cameroon is fighting for a win with all the quality players they have, and people will be expecting a lot from them. Then for Burundi, they are only demanding for a draw, just a point in the game. That means if the game between Cameroon and Burundi will end in a draw, the 3 teams will all be with 5 points, and currently they are all having 0 positives. I hope the viewers are getting me. And also the teams that have scored more goals, the country that's Namibia is having 6, Burundi is having 4, and Cameroon is having 3. Then for Cameroon to qualify, they need a win up against Burundi. If they draw, the draw should come with so many number of goals. What are we expecting in the game, Owen?
High intensity games, because teams are looking forward to see that they need to qualify, and out of that there are a lot of things that you need to add in. Uganda right now is looking into Mungu's idea, calculation, and the rest of the things like who is that. Of course, people are crying Tanzania should win, Tanzania should not win. Different teams, by the way, different countries are crying for that, because that's where Uganda's hope lies. But any slight, it is a must win for Uganda. And if they don't win, you're going to be seeing them suffer. Obviously, we shall get used to our normal ways as Ugandans of being off the hook. But I believe Uganda can win this game. Mike Mutebi was in an interview in one of the interviews with a journalist, and he was like, in his team, some of the players maybe would not be there, some of the players he would need to fit into the team. He spoke a lot. So it gives you a lot of things. But all in all, I think Uganda has a challenge of always now selection. They have, yes, they may have the selection, but of course, I think Micho needs to do a lot. Sometimes act as the manager of this club, put in what you need, because now everyone here keeps saving the work, man. Maybe if they have told me this, I need to do this, I need to do that. So that is one big thing. But all in all, I think it's a challenge, and Uganda has to just prove and win, so that they have a must win, then they start praying again. Uganda has never gone, I think, successfully in the previous 5 years I've been following their game. It is either the mathematics now, if one and if twos and the threes always have to work. And that is one thing that Uganda has to desist from. With most of the coaches, that is it. The Sabri tried, we saw, and of course pushed, but still there was some if somewhere. So it is one of the biggest one, and I think, yeah, the questions have not really been so good for Uganda. So the only thing is put the right people to play for you the game.
Exactly, and all the 23 players that have been summoned by Micho, as we talk right now, they're already in Marrakech, a city in Morocco, doing training, and it was boosted by the arrival of Rogers Mato yesterday morning, and the 23 players are all in the camp of Uganda. In case, as Owen said, we fail to qualify, so do we say it's the right time for Micho to go?
Uganda still has a chance, much as they sit in position 3. There is behind Tanzania that has 7 points. Uganda has 4 points, meaning Uganda plays, there is on 7th September against Niger, and then Tanzania has Algeria to play, which Algeria already qualified in March. So meaning if we beat, there is a Niger on 7th September, from 4 will add up to 7, meaning Cranes still has a lot, and they must win their game to get any chances for qualifying ahead of 2023 finals. So I think I'll still have a chance, but Niger is also not an easy side, I should say. Meanwhile, Algeria, I should say, will be playing for prestige, because already they qualified. That was way back in March. So they're just there to finish in the group stages, to finish in there is the season, I should say. But then looking to there is the squad of Uganda that already traveled to Morocco, like you had said, they landed safely at Marrakech. There is the capital city of Morocco, I should say. The squad looks to be prepared, and all guns are pointing to there is a qualifications, meaning they will have to play out their heart, and Mitchell seems very confident. But then we've already seen them being confident. Like Owen had said, they've never gone far, they've never gone past there is the group stages, and we've already seen even the group or the camp being boosted by arrivals of senior players to us that look very senior. But then Mitchell has always had interviews where he seems to be very confident, very courageous to there is to give people there is a hope of higher chances of qualifications and all that. But at the end, what happens? We don't qualify, we are beaten, and we come back home. So we wait to maybe see whatever it is that happens. There is on 7th September.
One player that has always been maintaining his consistency in the squad of Uganda Cranes is Emmanuel Oki. Is the only senior subject who is going to miss the game. Apart from him, we can confirm to you most of the key players of Uganda Cranes, they are fit. And one group I am also looking at, whereby all the teams having a chance, is of course Group I, where we have DRC with 9 points, Mauritania with 7 points, Gabon with 7 points, and the last Sudan, our neighbors, with 7 points. With that, we have come to